Hey guys, this is Two Kids in a Trench Coat, a football podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jacob Rosenfarm.
I am your other host, Ryan Sharp.
We are sad to announce we do not have the presence of Josh Zackless tonight, our loyal and trustworthy producer.
Yep, Josh is working somewhere else, but it's good for him. He's on that grind.
Exactly. Go get that bread, Josh.
Yep. So, like we said on our previous podcast, we're introducing a new format going into Week 7. A couple days ago, we did our Week 6 recap, and now we're going to do our Week 7 preview, or as I accidentally said in the tweet earlier, preview.
Preview.
So yeah, let's just jump right into it. We have the first game of the week, might also be one of the worst games of the week. I'm happy we're getting it out of the way on Thursday night.
Honestly, same. Yeah,
you don't even have to watch it. You'll be covering ASU football.
So Broncos Cardinals. That is. I don't think anyone's excited for this game. No one's really looking forward to seeing this.
Yeah,
Cardinals.
If you have no rooting interest in this game, I don't blame you for not wanting to watch it.
It feels like this is the first bad Thursday night game.
Yeah, if we're being honest, we've been really lucky with these Thursday night games.
Exactly, and now we actually have a bad one. I mean, we knew it was coming. It was inevitable.
Yeah, but for it to not come until Week 7, that's pretty good.
Pretty impressive. Props to you, NFL scheduling.
Yeah, you figured it out. Maybe.
Kind of. Yeah, let's chill.
So I guess a major thing coming into this week is the disdain surrounding Broncos quarterback Case Keenum. I know a lot of the fans there want Chad Kelly in the game. Do you think that's going to happen this week?
Man, I don't think it happens because I don't think Vance Joseph could ever be that dumb. I don't know. I can't imagine Chad Kelly coming in and doing better than Case Keenum.
Yeah, I think that's a long shot. Chad Kelly's a guy that he's a rookie. We didn't talk about him. We realized he didn't have a lot of potential in the draft, and that's why he hasn't really done anything for the Broncos yet. Case Keenum is just better. I know it's not the best situation, but if you want to stay in games, I'd suggest against putting in a rookie who came in for the last minute of a half against the Rams.
Yeah, I don't think Chad Kelly's very good. He's 7th round pick. We never really saw anything at Ole Miss that would make me think, oh, this is the quarterback. This is an NFL quarterback right here.
Yeah, I know we brought up some other guys on this podcast, like even Danny Etling and Tanner Lee came up before we talked about Chad Kelly.
Exactly, that's how irrelevant Chad. Honestly, when I think of Chad Kelly, I think of that video. I think it was from last year of him getting in a fight at his brother's high school game.
Yeah,
remember that? That's what I think of Chad Kelly.
Yeah.
So that's not a super glowing recommendation, I don't think.
Yeah, no, I think Case Keenum will figure it out. I think he's just struggling to figure out this new system a little more than we anticipated.
I think he's struggling to figure out the system, and his weapons suck. Like, his weapons aren't good.
Yeah.
Demaryius Thomas is so old, and his hands have failed him. Emmanuel Sanders is solid. Cortland Sutton, I like as a rookie, but he's still a rookie. You know, I mean, the weapons just aren't there for Case Keenum to really succeed.
Yep.
I think there's some unreal expectations for what he can provide for this team. I think they saw what he did in Minnesota last year and think, oh, he's going to be exactly the same.
And that's just not the case because he doesn't have, Diggs and Thielen. And
exactly. When you're swapping Diggs, Thielen, and Kyle Rudolph for Jake Butt, Emmanuel Sanders, and Demaryius Thomas, you're going to struggle.
Not even Jake Butt because he's out now.
I know, yeah, exactly. Not even Jake Butt.
Yeah, so Broncos fans, please be patient with Case Keenum. For the Cardinals, though, I think it might be time for their fans to start growing impatient with Steve Wilks and their coaching decisions regarding Josh Rosen.
Tell me, why are you angry?
There was a quote this week from Rosen himself. Someone asked him, how can you work David Johnson, someone we consider one of the more elite running backs in this league, into the offense? And he said, I don't know, maybe let me throw him the ball more. And
interesting.
I'm going to have to agree with him there. He's, I would say, one of the best, if not the best, at catching the ball out of the backfield and running with it.
Yeah.
So why not let him do that? Why keep forcing him to dump it off right into the line of scrimmage? It doesn't make sense to me. At some point, you're going to have to trust Josh Rosen. And I don't see why he hasn't just... we know this season's shot. Why not just... We keep bringing this up, and I just keep getting more and more upset about it. I want to see the Hebrew Hammer let loose.
Oh, man, that'd be so much fun. That's the point. The season's done. Why not see what Josh Rosen can do?
Yeah, why limit him if you know there's nothing to lose or win?
And the futility of running David Johnson into a crappy offensive line play after play is just...
That just makes him worse for next year.
Exactly. Just irresponsible on every level.
Yeah, I do not understand that one bit. But I'm thinking to myself, with this Broncos defense tomorrow, I doubt we'll see too much of Josh Rosen slinging it around.
I would hope so. I hope we see him. But
you think? I just think the Broncos defense is good enough that they'll be very conservative in their play calling. The Cardinals will.
I can get behind that. Hopefully, we see something from David Johnson because the Broncos' run defense has been garbage the last couple weeks.
That is true. This could be the week for Johnson.
Just allowed over 200 yards to Todd Gurley. So clearly something's there. So
that is a tough 2 weeks going against two of the best running backs in the game back to back.
Yeah. That is brutal, but thankfully that's the only similarity between the two.
Yep. Who you got?
Man, I think Broncos.
I'm gonna have to stick with the Broncos in this one. I know they're on the road, but they're not much better, but they are still much better.
Yeah, I get behind that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna have to go with the Broncos in this one. Cardinals just aren't ready to beat this level of team yet, which means they're pretty bad. So I guess we can move on to Sunday now. This game is at 6:30 for us here in Arizona, 9:30 for you East Coast people. The Titans travel to San Diego, who traveled to London to play a home game.
Exactly. So the LA Chargers went back to San Diego, and they're like, "Ah, crap, I gotta go to London." And
I said San Diego, didn't I?
You did say San Diego. That's
factual
okay.
error.
It's okay. I do it all the time,
Yeah.
and when I cry myself to sleep about
Yeah.
it. But anywho, both these teams traveling to Wembley Stadium in London, England. I'm excited. I think this is gonna be an interesting game. London games are always so weird to me.
I know.
I think every team is no one really knows how to react.
Yeah, the Seahawks last week is probably the best performance I've seen by a team in London.
Honestly, yeah.
These games are just always so sloppy. Everyone is drained because their internal clocks are messed up, especially Los Angeles, coming from the West Coast. That's
Yeah.
got to mess you up. That's a 9-hour time difference.
Something ridiculous.
They leave on Friday and then they come back. No, I think they go out early for these games.
They must go
Oh
out
no,
early.
they stayed in Cleveland this week.
Did they really?
Yeah, that was a good call in there.
Interesting. That is smart. Yeah.
They practice in Cleveland this week, so no time change, or at least a week in between the 3 to 9.
Interesting.
So yeah, that might switch things up
That's
a little
something.
bit. Yeah, but still, these London games are just always so sloppy. They're never fun.
No, they really aren't.
They just always seem super wet and miserable, and it just doesn't look fun to be there, and it doesn't look fun to play in.
No, I couldn't agree more all around. One executive I heard talking about, not this game in particular, just London games as a whole, is that it really is a product of your coaching, and that's kind of not single-handedly determinant, but a huge factor in these London games, more than I think normal NFL home or away games, just because it's the responsibility of your coach to keep your team prepared, keep your team well slept, well fed. Like I don't know, I feel like there's just things you don't have to think about at home that are a massive factor in London.
And now they are sending a first-year coach over there with his team.
Yeah, that's the thing. Mike Vrabel, this is probably one of his. I mean, when did they start this London initiative? It hasn't been.
Almost 10 years.
Interesting. Okay, so
maybe a little less, but getting close.
So I have no idea if Mike Vrabel's played in London as an NFL.
I think he was done playing by the time they started. I don't know if
Okay.
he's maybe as an assistant, but I don't remember the Patriots ever playing in London.
That's so weird that they never send them there.
Yeah,
Like,
it's because they're too good.
I guess, but I don't know. I don't know why they send the crappiest product to London if we're being.
Yeah, they want football to gain traction across the pond, but it's not going to do that if you're sending the worst product.
Exactly. The other international game, the Mexico City game, is Rams Chiefs, like the best possible matchup.
Yeah, that is like the matchup to watch.
Like I understand not sending those just because you want the revenue in the United States, but
Yeah.
like if you're gonna send them international, those are the games. I mean, why not? That's the best. Those are the best games to grow product, and I don't think a Chargers Titans game is really growing product. Over
Yeah, I don't think a Seahawks Raiders game is growing
Yeah.
Last year they had Dolphins Saints. UK native Jay Ajayi, he got to go back. That was kind of cool.
That is really cool.
So that was fun. But other than that, these London games, they're rough sometimes.
Yeah. Getting to this one specifically, though, I think the Chargers proved the past couple weeks, beating up on the Raiders and the Browns, that they are the cream of the crop in the NFL. They are part of this elite group of teams. I don't know if that makes them Super Bowl contenders, but I think they're at least in the playoff hunt. And I don't know if we can say the same for the Titans.
No, Titans still clinging to that AFC South lead at 3-3, but I think this week might put them below 500. I just haven't been impressed by the Titans. Honestly, since the start of the season, I was impressed with their wins over Philly and Jacksonville. But Jacksonville just looks less and less impressive as time moves on, too.
Yeah,
they just got blown out.
Looking back at both those wins, I feel like that might say more about their opponents than the Titans.
It does, yeah. They couldn't beat the Dolphins in Week 1. That obviously propelled the Dolphins hot streak, which is fun for me. But I'm just not liking what I see from the Titans, but I am liking what I see from the Chargers. I think their run game is super established. I think their passing game out of the backfield is super established. And obviously, Phillip Rivers still feels super comfortable throwing it into triple coverage in the end zone.
I mean, please, Phillip, never change. That's what we as Chargers fans love about you. I think that's what the whole NFL loves about you is a gunslinging attitude, and I don't think that stops when they go across the pond.
No, definitely not. I'm taking the Chargers in this one. I'm just not liking what I see from the Titans, but I still think they may be There's a chance they pull it out, but I highly doubt it.
Yeah, the formula is there for sure, especially if Mariota has a much better game than anticipated. But if either him or Gabbard, whoever's in, plays at the caliber we've been seeing, my expectations aren't very high for the Titans. One interesting little fact about the Chargers before we move on. Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon, 2 highest graded running backs in the league according to PFF.
That's pretty cool.
Both in the Chargers backfield. Thought that was interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
But yeah, so the new Saints, new better than Kamara and Ingram, Eckler and Gordon.
I mean, I think you're forgetting about Drake and Gore.
That is a great call. I hadn't even thought about that.
No. So anything else you want to say about?
No, let's move on.
All right. So next game we have on this list, AFC South matchup between the Texans and the Jags. Before the season, this was circled on both our calendars, I would probably guess.
Definitely.
And here it is. We have the 3-3 Texans against the 3-3 Jags, and it's just this game doesn't look very fun anymore.
No, man, I'm so disappointed.
Me too.
I was expecting like 2 losses between the 2 of these teams coming in this game, 2 or 3. Like I thought these were 2 of the more elite teams in the AFC. I thought they'd be battling the entire year for AFC South supremacy, and that part may still be true, but it's going to be a lot of 500 teams.
Yeah. One of these teams will probably go 9-7 and make the playoffs. It seems like between Tennessee or Houston or Jacksonville.
Yeah, one of them.
Or maybe the Colts go on a hot streak at the end of the year and mess things up.
The AFC South is so even; they're just all so bad.
Yeah,
they're all in this mediocre mush.
Yeah, I wrote a piece earlier in the year, and it's like, hey, the AFC South is going to be good this year. I think I said competitive. And it's been competitive, but it hasn't been good.
Yes, that is true. But so tell me your thoughts on this game.
I'm not too sure what to think of it, if we're being honest. I don't know what to expect from either the Jaguars defense or Blake Bortles, because both have just let us down in the past couple of weeks. So I'm inclined to think maybe Deshaun Watson starts to get it together a little bit more. But it is a road game for Houston. It's in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I just like that part of it.
Me too.
In terms of Jacksonville, I don't know how strong Houston is as a team, and I don't know if this road game is winnable for them.
I can definitely get behind that. To play devil's advocate, I mean, if Dak Prescott can light up the Jaguars defense like that, there's no reason to think Deshaun Watson can either.
I would agree with that.
So just simply going off that, I like what I've seen. I mean, 3 straight for the Texans. Like in the least convincing way possible, they won 3 in a row. So, I guess that's something to look fondly upon, but I'm not sure. Like I have very little faith in Bill O'Brien or this entire Texans team as a whole.
Yep, I would agree with that. I'm just waiting for Cliff Kingsbury.
I know Cliff Kingsbury to the Texans. We're getting
similar to Baker to Miami. My brand right now is Cliff to Houston.
We need to make that a thing. God, that'd be so much fun. Deshaun Watson in that offense would just be. I mean, he'd put the numbers he would put up would be Tecmo Bowl-esque. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah, Bo Jackson Tecmo Bowl.
Exactly. If you can think of that in quarterback,
you cannot stop it.
So yes, I don't know. I guess I kind of like the Jags in this game. I anticipate a return to normalcy for this Jaguars defense. I imagine they're going to look just as dominant as they did in the past couple weeks, maybe versus the Patriots rather than their performance versus the Cowboys.
Yeah, I think 40-7 might be their floor.
Oof, man, I hope.
I really hope it is at least.
Yeah, really.
I would hate to see this team, with so much potential, just fall apart so fast.
Yeah. A collapse from their defense would not be how I would anticipate this team.
I would think it would be all Blake Bortles, and
same.
I mean, it's been him too, but
yeah. He's not helping. Not helping, but yeah. So disappointing game, but I think the Jags pull this one out. How about you?
I think so too. I think Jacksonville probably comes out on top. So moving on now, we have a matchup between Philadelphia and Carolina. It took me a while to get that out. These 2 teams played last year. It was a pretty good game. Eagles come out on top. That game was in Charlotte, though. This one is in Philly. Does that change anything? Is this game similar or different to last year?
Interesting. I think both these teams are at very different places than they were last year. I think this Panthers team, despite that weird loss last week to the Redskins, is much more on the up and up than they were at this point last year. And the Eagles, I think I am still not sold on what I've seen from Philadelphia. How about you?
I keep saying I'm not worried. But I think this game will be a huge determining factor for me going forward. Obviously, they just beat up on the Giants last week. But realistically, that's the Giants. So I think this game is a huge test for the Eagles. I think it's huge if they can win it.
Definitely. I think they should win this
I think
game.
they should.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I just don't know if they will.
Definitely. I can get behind that. if I'm an Eagles fan, I'm disappointed at a loss here.
Yes.
So I think again, not a must win, obviously, but like a win, they should be really anticipating and really trying to achieve. Just I think this puts them as a benchmark in the NFC. The Panthers are a good, not great team, and I think that's the Eagles are certainly trying to be in the great camp rather than the good. And this is kind of the bar.
Yeah, a loss to Carolina, I would say, knocks them out of that great camp.
Exactly.
If they're even in it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, just based off reputation alone, they're in it. Like, nothing we've seen from them so far puts them close to the great category.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what's going on. Is this coaching? Is it Wentz? I know we've talked about this a little bit. Anything you'd like to rehash?
I mean, my main culprit I would have to think would be just Super Bowl hangover. Just a sort of like, we're better than everyone. We're better than the world. Our division sucks, and we're just going to roll through and go 12-4. And I don't know. I think they're just kind of. I think it's kind of a cruel wake up call.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I'm still more in the camp that it's Wentz. He's just I don't know if he's all the way there.
No,
But Super Bowl hangovers. I think if anybody has proven it's real, it might be the Eagles.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not counting that out but I think it's more Wentz than hangover.
Yeah.
But it's close. It's like 60-40, something like that.
Their defense just hasn't been as dominant as we saw last year. I think their secondary especially struggled. I really liked what I've seen from Malcolm Jenkins, but Darby is not nearly the corner I saw last year. Jalen Mills has struggled. So, I don't know. I need to see this Eagles team bounce back, specifically on the defensive side of the ball.
Yep. The problem with that, though, is the Panthers also looking to bounce back from just an ugly loss to Washington last week. Cam said he's over it. I probably is. He's a pro, knows what he's doing.
He's a pro.
Just thinking about it, though, I could see last week's loss to a real bad NFC East team, give them a little drive to beat another one that's, considered better.
Yeah.
Just a rebound game for New England.
Not
New England, man. I am all over the place tonight. For Carolina.
Yes, I agree. Carolina needs a real bounce back game. What I really need to see from the Panthers is a recommitment to the run. They barely utilized Christian McCaffrey last week. I'm pulling up his stats right now. It was something disgusting, though. It was something where Christian McCaffrey was not getting the ball. 8 carries for 20 yards.
Yep, that's like Aaron Jones a couple weeks ago.
Exactly, where you can see the potential. He's trying to burst one open, but he's just not getting the carries. And so for a player of McCaffrey's caliber,
you have to be giving him the ball.
8 touches, that's despicable.
Like, I could understand not giving Aaron Jones the ball. He, hasn't shown anything besides the fact that he's an actual running back by trade.
Yeah.
McCaffrey's a top 10 pick.
Exactly. McCaffrey's a top 10 pick with the pedigree. We've seen in past seasons he's an elite NFL talent.
And they're just not letting him touch the ball.
If you're not putting the ball in his hands 25 to 30 times a game, you're doing something wrong. He's such a force in the run game. He's such a force in the pass game. There is no excuse not to be force feeding him the ball, especially on a team as bereft with weapons as the Panthers. They have not. DJ Moore's nice, I guess. Devin Funchess had a good catch last week, but I'm still not impressed what I've seen from him. So yeah, they need to involve McCaffrey way more. Need to get some Curtis Samuel up in there. Yep. So I expect better out of Ron Rivera.
I would say the same, and I just think with the Eagles' offense, you have the return of Nelson Aguilar. He came back last week or a couple weeks ago and lit it up last week against the Giants. That definitely hurts. The Panthers' chances, I would just say, in terms of scoring, if the Eagles, get up early and they refuse to give McCaffrey the ball, this is over.
That was a huge part of it. I think the Panthers were down 14-0 before they could, put down their coffee. So
yeah,
I think that was definitely a reason for their.
Yeah, if that happens again, the Eagles win this game for
definitely.
Sure.
So speaking of who winning, who do you have taking this one?
Oh man, this is a tough one. I think the Panthers really want to win this game, but I think the Eagles do. I'm just giving them that because they're at home again.
I like it, but I'm going to have to disagree with it. I think the Panthers steal this one. I think a big bounce-back game from Cam. I can see Christian McCaffrey popping off, and I think this defense kind of steps it up a little. Right now, I'm taking the Panthers defense over the Eagles defense, and at that point, that gives the edge to the Panthers to me.
All right. Yep. I'm taking Eagles offense over Panthers offense, so that's what's giving me.
That's a great point. We shall see.
I like this disagreement because it's the first one so far, and that means someone will have more than the other person. Okay, so I'm gonna say this one perfectly this time. The next game on our list is the Minnesota Vikings at the New York Jets.
God, that was perfect.
Yep, nailed it.
Yeah. So Vikings Jets. Think kind of coming into this year, we're like, it's gonna be a blowout. This is a non-watchable, but now I'm intrigued.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm still leaning Vikings.
Me too.
I liked what I've seen from Darnold the past couple weeks, and The Vikings, their defense hasn't been as strong as it was
No.
last year. So I think just with the way Darnold's been throwing the ball, we might get more of a high-scoring game then.
I mean, I am super excited to see Darnold versus this defense. I think this is not his first real test, but a significant benchmark he needs to clear in terms of a rookie. This is one of the more elite defense he's played so far in the NFL, and I can't wait to see how he matches up. I think Harrison Smith is going to give him fits, and I think that defensive line, I think, is going to make him throw some throws he's not ready to make yet.
Yep. And for a guy that forces a lot of throws still, I don't know if that's a great matchup.
No,
in terms of winnability.
Definitely, I think he will struggle. I think this is not the first game, but I think this is probably his most extreme struggles this game. I think we see the highest highs and the lowest lows from Darnold. That's my point.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll make some real good throws, but I'd be willing to bet he probably just makes a couple errant ones that.
He has had some jaw. I feel like every week there's at least 2 jaw-dropping throws from Sam Darnold.
Yeah.
And then I think the Jets' winnability just gauges based on how many "what are you doing" throws does he have? How many just absolutely deflating interceptions does he throw? That's the metric, because you don't know, but you can safely assume that a handful of those jaw-dropping throws are going to be there, and that's super exciting from a rookie quarterback.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
See, that's what makes me so impatient about Josh Rosen is like the Jets know the season's probably over. It was over.
Yeah.
Probably over before it even started.
There we go.
And so they're letting their rookie quarterback go out there and throw it around, and they're coming out with more wins.
They're coming out with 42-34 wins.
Yeah,
those are the games you need your rookie quarterback in.
Yeah. And that's what Josh Rosen has to be doing. I know I said I'd stop talking about it, but
no. It's
just
it makes us angry.
Yeah. So I'm happy for Sam Darnold. I hate having to root for the Jets. I hate having to root for Sam Darnold, but he's shown me a lot.
I agree.
So I'm super impressed with what I've seen from Darnold so far.
Me too. All signs point towards an awesome pick for the Jets.
Yep.
So who do you have coming away with this game?
I want to pick the Jets because we just talked so highly of Sam Darnold, but I think you're right. I think that Vikings defense is going to get to him a little bit, and I think we'll make a couple of those "what are you doing" throws,
Right.
or at least more than the really great ones, and that knocks them down. So
I would have to agree. I think the Vikings pull this one out, but this is going to be way closer than people anticipate.
Yeah, I could see like a 28-20 kind of game.
Definitely.
Yeah, not like the 42-3 we thought.
And I would be also there. I think the impetus lies on this Jets defense to keep them in this game. I think if they can bruise up Kirk Cousins and make life hard for Thielen and Diggs, they could keep them very much in this game.
This has all the potential to be another Bills game.
Definitely.
For the Vikings, it's just on the road.
Man, wow! Imagine if they could functionally shut out by 2 rookie quarterbacks. How wild would that be?
That would be pretty insane.
Yeah. Man, not where this Viking season thought they would be.
Nope.
But
not at all.
I mean, this other side of that coin of this game is that if the Vikings defense really struggles, I think it's time to sound the alarms.
Yeah.
I mean, they're already kind of they're wary. I think they're kind of in the similar position to the Eagles that they got a win they were supposed to do last. They got a win they were supposed to win last week. They wiped out the Cardinals. That was never really a game. So now a more formidable test this week. See how they react. See where they're at in the season.
I would agree with that. I just, especially with the division race, I had the Vikings, winning this. I mean, by 1 game, but still fairly comfortably, if that makes sense.
Sure.
But now it just seems with everything up in the air, Rodgers looks like he's pretty much fully healthy. The Packers seem to be a little better than they were a couple weeks ago. I just I'm not as confident in the Vikings as I was before, but I like them in this game still.
Definitely. Same with me. Moving on though, tell us about our next game.
Next game we have up is New England, who I name dropped earlier for some reason, and the Bears. This game's in Chicago, and I think that makes it a lot more interesting.
Interesting. Tell us why.
I like the idea of Khalil Mack going in there and just messing Tom Brady up. A couple sacks, forced fumble.
You see the reporter try and compare Khalil Mack to Lawrence Taylor today?
I did say that, and I tweeted about it. I think Belichick loves LT more than he loves Tom Brady.
I couldn't agree more, definitely. I don't think there's any doubt in his mind.
Just hearing him talk about the two of them, he just lights up when you ask him about Lawrence Taylor, and I think Tom Brady knows that, and I think he's okay with it. But it's just super funny.
I wonder who the most random player you could get Bill Belichick to light up about. Like, I wonder if you ask him about his those old Giants teams long snapper, if he would just his face would glow.
I mean, remember last year he pretty much wrote a 600-word essay about the punter.
Yeah.
And how important he is.
Yeah. Bill Belichick is the most. I mean, this is not breaking any news, but Bill Belichick's football mind is a sight. Is something.
Yeah, he just thinks so
differently than everyone else.
So much deeper.
Yeah.
Like, there are details we'll go through our entire lives without noticing. But he has them all written down somewhere.
Just if there is a truth serum for anybody in the NFL, it might be Bill Belichick. Would be the most interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
If you could have somebody unfiltered, he might be the one.
Yeah, he's just been in the game for so long, so many good teams.
So many thoughts about the league as
exactly.
a whole. But yeah,
moving back to this game, though, I think Khalil Mack could cause some issues for Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen it before. The game plan to beating up on the Patriots is get to Tom Brady.
Yep.
And there's no team that does it better than the Bears.
Yep. Except for last week.
Yeah. We're not talking about last week.
No, I think the Bears. I think they're probably pretty upset about this loss to Miami. So I think that definitely gives them, somewhat of a competitive edge. Add on that they're going against Tom Brady, who's, one of the most respected, but people hate playing against him because he's so good. So I think they'll want to get back there. I think they'll want to hit Tom Brady, and I think that'll cause some issues. I don't know if I'm picking the Bears, but just based on the Lions' ability to get to Tom Brady and the caliber of this, or the talent of this Bears defensive front, I'm really thinking that the Bears might win this game, for being honest.
I like it. I like the take.
This might be my upset special.
I am. That is music to my ears because I think it's the exact opposite. I think Pats blow this one wide open.
Really?
Yeah, I think this fits into my Mitchell Trubisky's trash take. This is all one big thing where anytime I can take Bill Belichick versus a trash quarterback, I'm gonna do it. I think Bill is just able to make his life hell in certain he's going to be able to make Trubisky's life just hell. I think he's going to confuse him and schematically just be able to take him out of the game to an extent where they're not going to be able to drive down the field. I think that's where we're at with Trubisky. I don't think he is an NFL starting caliber quarterback. I think he severely limits the Bears' overall ceiling, and I think this leads to a Patriots 35-13 blowout.
Interesting. I guess I have a little more confidence in Mitchell Trubisky than you.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he's great. I think Darnold is probably maybe a little better now and will pan out. But I think if you throw Sam Darnold on this Bears team, I don't know. The Patriots lost to the Lions in Detroit, and now they're going into a much tougher environment against a much better team. So that's just. Everything you said makes sense, but I like the idea of an upset here, so
I personally love the idea of an upset. Nothing would give me more joy than Trubisky dropping 6 touchdowns again. That would be awesome.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the Bears just for the fun of it.
I like it. This is where I get my win back because I'm taking the Patriots.
Interesting. We'll see where that goes. Bills Colts. This game could be interesting. But
yeah.
I see it being one of those sloppy, low scoring, just what's happening games.
With the other options available at 10 a.m. for us West Coasters and 1 p.m. for you East Coasters, Bills Colts should not be on your TV.
Yeah, no. Similar to Thursday night, unless you have a rooting interest.
Yeah.
Not really for you.
Derek Anderson getting the start for the Bills this week.
That makes me happy. That makes me really happy.
That it's not Nathan Peterman, you mean?
I don't know what Sean McDermott was doing starting him last year. I don't know what he was doing not releasing him and then starting him this year.
Yeah.
So Derek Anderson, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I am excited to see what Derek Anderson still has to offer. I think the Colts have struggled a lot this year, and I think the Bills' defense has really stepped up this year as well.
Yeah.
So I really like that about this game. What do you think?
Definitely. I think this is if there's ever a time for Derek Anderson to look confident, it would be against this pathetic Colts defense. I mean, they have such little talent on that side of the ball, and they're just so lost, it feels like, all the time, that this is the perfect opportunity for a game-managing vet like Derek Anderson to really take over. On the other side of the ball, though, I think you're right. I think you might have even undersold it a little. This Bills defense is elite. This Bills defense is a top 5 unit in the NFL. That's how good this defense is. Tre'Davious White's awesome. Micah Hyde is really good. Jordan Poyer, they have so much talent, especially in the secondary. I love this Bills defense, and this keeps them in games. This is going to keep them in every game they play this year.
Yep, I hate how much I like the Bills defense. But you're right, they're really good. So just based off that, I'm taking the Bills in this game.
Interesting. Okay.
I know it's on the road.
I like
and,
that.
I know it's still Andrew Luck, but I just don't know if Andrew Luck has the weapons around him to really overcome a defense as good as this.
I agree. Third straight disagreement, but I'm taking the Colts in this one, just
Interesting.
because I don't think Derek Anderson's going to be able to put up the points. I think he'll be able to drive them 14 to 17 points, and we've seen that's probably enough with the Bills defense. But I like Andrew Luck to squeak this one out just a little bit.
I'm just taking Bills defense over Colts offense, but you're right. I see how Derek Anderson could definitely, hold back the rest of the Bills.
Could limit their potential just a hair.
Couldn't be worse than Nathan Peterman, though.
Exactly. They can only go up, so that's encouraging.
Yeah. Next game a couple weeks ago we thought might be interesting. Now it's just kind of one of those meh ones. That's the Browns traveling to Tampa Bay to take on the once undefeated Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, doesn't that feel so long ago?
That
we were talking
like
about
the 2-0 Bucks and Fitzmagic.
The 3-0 Bucks.
I forgot
3-0
about that.
Bucks. Yep. That was an incredible time.
Yeah.
I miss Ryan Fitzpatrick. I already feel like we have one game with Jameis and we've already forgotten about Fitzmagic.
Yeah, it's weird.
It is.
That's just how things work, though. I guess
it is. Him showing up in Deshaun Jackson's clothes will be a moment I cherish forever from this season.
That's something we'll be talking about like in 10 years. Like, hey, remember that time Ryan Fitzpatrick wore Deshaun Jackson's clothes? This game I'm not excited for either.
Yeah, no.
I know, Jameis is still readjusting to the NFL. It's essentially week 2 for him, even though it's week 7. Cleveland, Baker Mayfield hurt last week. He's going to play, I'm pretty sure, but we'll have to see how much that ankle injury limits him.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not a lot. I think it takes away the mobility, but he's still very strong inside the pocket, so I don't think it'll be too much of an issue unless, for some reason, Tampa Bay gets back there.
Yeah, I'm really hoping Baker's fully healed. I think we saw enough from him in the second half of that Chargers game to indicate that it'll be, I think, okay.
Yeah, I think if with the week of recovery, if they tape him up,
exactly.
I see this game going fairly well for Cleveland.
Yeah, me too. I think the Browns defense is all right. I think it might have been a tad bit overhyped for that first 3-4 week stretch. I think they're okay. I think they're good. I think they're above average, but far from an elite unit,
for sure.
But an above average unit, and I actually kind of like them this game. I think they might sneak this one out.
I would agree with you. I think Tampa just has enough holes that Cleveland has filled in those spots. So
definitely, I think Tampa Bay's a crap storm. I think we correctly nailed this one at the beginning of the year. I think we were thrown off a little bit in the scent from their 3-0 start, but I think we here at Two Kids in a Trench Coat never lost faith that the Buccaneers were trash.
Yeah, I really doubt that they be bad.
Yeah.
Even when they were good, I'm like, I just don't see this being sustained.
I really do think that the karmic retribution from starting Jameis Winston at quarterback will haunt them for the rest of their season.
They took Winston over Mariota.
They took Winston over Mariota, and now that we're learning that Winston's a piece of shit like that's just... It's time to cut bait, and I think the longer they have him on their roster, the longer they're going to suffer.
Are they looking for a quarterback in the 2019 draft?
I would have to think so.
Yeah, I would agree. Even if he doesn't play next year, I think they're definitely taking one.
There's enough talent in this quarterback class that the Bucs are one of the few teams who really need a quarterback.
That's kind of disappointing, just both in terms of character and performance from Jameis Winston. I was excited to see him play.
Yeah, and he wasn't bad. He wasn't horrible last week. Threw for 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, just never there consistently.
No.
And that sucks.
We do need to talk about that last play, though.
We do.
Because it was a fascinating idea. So just to clarify, Bucs down by 5. I think they're on their on the who are they? Well, I'm a Falcons thing.
Yeah,
Falcons
they're getting ready to go
22-yard line, I want to say. And all the Falcons defenders are basically along the goal line. So there's about a 15-yard stretch between the pocket and the nearest defender. So Jameis takes the snap and then plunges forward. And he gets to about the 10-yard line and tries to rugby pitch it over to Adam Humphries, who then tries to rugby pitch it to Mike Evans, who then tries to throw it to Deshaun Jackson. And the first 3 things of that equation worked.
Yep, it went perfectly.
Exactly. And then the fourth one, Mike Evans to Deshaun Jackson, he hits the ball right in front of him and it just bounces through his legs out of bounds. and Deshaun Jackson had a clear path to the end zone.
Yeah, that's
and
disappointing.
It was one good throw away from one of the best final plays in NFL history.
Yep, I would agree with that.
Yeah, it was incredible.
So, disappointing loss there. I feel like Tampa is the kind of team that doesn't bounce back from a disappointing loss.
Bingo.
They think about it too much, and instead they just spiral into the oblivion.
I agree. Yeah, I think this begins the Buccaneers' year from hell. Like, I think I could definitely see 1 or 2 wins remaining on their schedule. And
if that.
Yeah, I think this starts. I think a loss at home to the Browns really catapults
that
them.
seems like a thing that could really just send everything downhill.
First coach fired, Dirk Cutter.
Maybe.
Wouldn't be shocked.
I would not. They just fired their defensive coordinator, Mike Smith. So,
exactly. So wouldn't be the craziest thing
the
in the world.
mid-season house cleaning might be what's needed. We'll see.
Yeah, never a great sign when that's what's needed. But yeah, I can see Dirk Cutter gone after this game. But I think just to clarify, I have the Browns in this game. Who do you have?
I'm also going to take the Browns.
Yeah, I like it.
Yep. Another game in Florida. Another team that started 3-0. We're like, are they good? Fell back a little bit. Dolphins come back, big win last week against the Bears. And then another NFC North opponent at home this week, and another week of Brocktober.
Let's go. This month cannot last long enough. There is nothing I enjoy more in this world than Brocktober.
Yeah, Brocktober's been pretty good to me so far. So I hope it is sustained.
Yeah.
I definitely miss having a starting quarterback in the game. Believe it or not, I'm still taking Ryan Tannehill over Brock Osweiler. But I'm excited to see, if Brock can really carry this team while Tannehill's out.
Yeah, imagine if Brock Osweiler was actually a competent NFL quarterback. How cool would that be?
Like he was with the Broncos on that Super Bowl run?
Yeah. If that's our baseline for Brock Osweiler, I think
I'm kind of comfortable with that. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
I think he has a better offense with this Dolphins team than he did with that Broncos team too.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Yeah, I mean there's peak Demaryius.
Yeah, so that is true. That is like the end of peak Demaryius.
Exactly. But still, I think it's a conversation at least.
Yep. And the other thing is he doesn't have to throw the ball very far because they have 2 of the best yards after catch receivers in the league.
Yeah,
Jakeem Grant and Albert Wilson.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you gush about those 2, especially Albert Wilson after that game last week.
Yep. In the fourth quarter, 5 catches, 2 touchdowns, and 150 yards.
Wow, for Albert Wilson.
Yep, Offensive Player of the Week this year, named by the NFL, so that's always fun.
That's awesome.
This was a free agent signing. I'm like, okay, cool. It's someone to fill in that slot spot.
Yeah.
And
he did nothing in Kansas City.
Yep,
he had a very limited role there.
I think a lot of that is he was just behind Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, his skills overlap so much with Tyreek Hill that
they went with Hill instead of Wilson. But the Dolphins seem to have that real figured out because they're working Grant and Wilson about equally, and they're both performing real well.
Yeah, that's super exciting. I mean, in this era of touch football, in this era where we cannot hit the receivers, and receivers are the most valuable asset in this league, having 2 super fast ones is awesome.
Yeah, I love it so much. Even if the season goes south for the Dolphins, I just really loved what I've seen from Grant and Wilson so far.
Yeah.
I had lost a lot of faith in Jakeem Grant. Just in the past 2 years, he kind of had a butterfinger problem, but this year's hands seem better. He just seems more into the game, and he has shown us why he is one of the best yak receivers in the league.
Yeah, so I can't wait to see how this Dolphins team reacts with Brock Osweiler under center. I mean, coming off of such an incredible win last week, you would hope there's no hangover.
Yep, that's what I'm worried about the most is the hangover from beating the Bears.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the Lions are no fool to sneeze at. No opponent they should be taken for granted.
Oh, definitely not. I'm taking this, or I'm just as, I don't want to say nervous, but I'm approaching this Lions game just like I'm approaching this Bears game if I'm the Dolphins.
Yeah.
Especially because it's a team you don't see a lot. Yeah, I think Stafford is still pretty good.
Yeah.
On the walk over here, I was like, how come no one's called him like Stat or Matt Statford or something like that? I just think that would be funny because padded stats and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's had an okay season so far. Obviously, that big win over New England.
Yeah.
I just don't know if we see that in Miami. I know I keep bringing up the weather down there, but it seems to be really getting to these away teams.
I mean, especially these away teams from the north. I think it's such a jarring difference in weather that I'd have to think. Like it's so thick down there. The humidity is just so thick, and and sticky, and it just clings to you in a way that makes me cringe now.
Yep.
And I don't think people from Detroit are experiencing that a whole lot.
And they don't. I mean, it's not going to be cold, obviously, but they play in a dome, so they don't know a lot about the elements aside from when they travel to Chicago, Green Bay.
Exactly.
So and then obviously they play other cold weather games, but I think this heat and humidity tougher to perform it.
100%. So
you're just sweating, you get dehydrated so much faster, you cramp. So because of that, if we're being real, I'm taking the Dolphins. I think they're more conditioned. I think that's what this game comes down to. I think it's what it came down to last week too.
Yeah.
Is they were just better conditioned than the Bears, and the Bears got tired and fell apart at the end.
I think that's a great call.
I think Miami this week should probably consider being up early, maybe pulling away a little earlier.
Yeah.
But if they can do that, I'd be fairly confident in winning this game.
I think you're right. I think this is a shootout. I think the Stafford Osweiler combo here is going to produce some points, and that's good. That's really exciting.
Yeah, I think that is. Who would have thought a game between the Lions and the Dolphins would be a shootout?
I know, right?
Yeah,
but especially with Brock Osweiler under center.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, I'm hoping against a shootout. I'm hoping for a blowout.
Yeah.
A couple Xavier Howard picks would be fun. T.J. McDonald has really stepped up in the absence of Rashad Jones, but Jones went down with an injury. He's still playing at a really high caliber for wearing a harness on his shoulder.
Yeah.
But they've still needed McDonald to really step up too. Especially with the struggles of Minkah Fitzpatrick in the past couple weeks. I think Minkah's still really good.
Definitely.
Just really trying to work out some disciplinary stuff. A couple PIs last week that kind of hurt him. So
rookie mistakes.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yep. So I like the leadership between McDonald and Jones. And plus they're just both pretty good. So
exactly, they're both super talented. And
I'd say they have 3 of the best safeties in the league. That might be kind of a stretch.
Yeah. But, pump the brakes just a tad.
Maybe like a top 30.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 50, so top 30 to 50 in that range. That's still impressive.
Yeah,
though.
yeah. I'd say Rashad Jones is definitely the highest of those 3.
Yeah, Rashad Jones is a top 10, 15 safety, and then T.J. McDonald's in that like 30 to 40 range, and Minkah's in there I think as well.
Yeah, I'd put McDonald in like the 20s, and then Minkah in like
okay, I can get behind
maybe the 30s or even late 20s. That's a week-to-week thing though for Minkah Fitzpatrick, just because he's a rookie. So
yeah, of course.
On the other side of the ball.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just not convinced. I mean, I don't want to say I'm not convinced because they've shown up a couple times this year. But I'm expecting a lockdown performance from this Dolphins secondary against the Lions receivers.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what this game's going to come down to. Like I said, I think it's going to be a shootout, but I trust the Dolphins secondary more than I trust the Lions secondary.
Yep, and that paired with the stickiness we talked about, I think the Dolphins win this one.
Yeah, I think they edge us out. I think this could be a combined over like 80 points though. I think this could be an actual real shootout, and that's gonna be super fun.
Yeah, I mean, we just had our first one of the year really. Last week, 43-40.
Yeah, so
that was fun.
I mean, we had Jets before that. Jets Colts.
Yeah, that was I don't know if I call that a shootout, just because of the garbage time touchdown.
I guess you're right. Fair.
Anyway, before I keep talking about the Dolphins and we run out of time for podcasts, let's move on to this next game. Saints at Ravens. You shared with me before we did this. The Ravens are the only team that Drew Brees has never beat.
Yeah, how cool is that, right?
That's pretty cool, and I think this might be the week he does it.
Yeah.
The Saints have just been so hot lately, but then again, so have the Ravens, and the Ravens defense is exactly what the Ravens defense has been for the past 20 years. So
yeah, I mean, a shutout last week.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like how rare is that in the NFL that we see a true shutout?
Yeah, it's pretty rare.
Yeah. So props to you, Ravens defense.
Yep. I'm still taking Drew Brees though.
Me too.
Brees, Michael Thomas, plus the dual threat they have of Kamara and Ingram's back now. I think they just pound it at the Ravens so much that they just won't know what to do, really.
I mean, even like a good day from the Ravens defense still probably allows like 21 points. Yeah. And I don't think this Ravens defense Ravens offense is capable of putting up 21 points
against the Saints. Yeah.
Exactly. So so even if this Ravens defense has a quote unquote good day, I still think this Saints offense is more than potent enough to put up enough points to win.
Yep, I would agree with that.
I think I could actually see a huge game from Brees here. A huge game from Brees and Thomas after a week of rest. I think maybe this Ravens defense is getting not cocky, but maybe a little, not as expecting as they were. And I don't know. I could see a blowout in this game. So who do you have?
I'm going to take the Saints because of Drew Brees, and I agree with you. I could see a hangover this week for the Ravens. 11 sacks. That's always fun, but I don't think you can expect to go out there and do that every week. and if that's the approach they're taking to this game, then that is what costs them the win.
To play devil's advocate, though, in Baltimore, Drew Brees
Baltimore.
does struggle outside, or we've seen that in the past.
Yeah.
So that could be a cause for concern if you're a Saints fan on this one. I think a Drew Brees, I keep using the word hangover, but a Drew Brees regression after such a momentous sort of occasion 2 weeks ago, breaking the record, having his family there, all that hullabaloo, and then, just another game back in Baltimore.
Yep.
I don't know. I could see a little bit, but
I'm still confident his ability to dump it off to Ingram and Kamara, though. So
yeah,
that's why
you don't think you lost that one?
No,
and
I think he can still hand the ball off pretty good.
So yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think the Saints win, and probably by double digits.
Yep. I would get behind that too. So moving on now, we have NFC East matchup. Dallas traveling to Washington. Redskins coming off that big win over the Panthers, and Cowboys coming off that big win over Jacksonville. What happens here?
Oh man, I think two teams that showed their best case scenarios last week. I don't think we'll see it. Not ever. I don't think we'll see a performance from either of those teams like that again this season. I think both teams reached their peak in Week 6. Which is kind of sad to say, but I think that's the reality of the Redskins and Cowboys.
So is this when they both start to fall apart and this game just all around is super boring, one of those 12-9 kind of games?
Bingo. I think both these defenses are a little underrated. I think both these offenses are severely overrated. And that combo pack is going to produce just a rough game overall, I think.
Yeah. This is just going to be one of those games I'll have to give to the home team.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of faith in either of them.
God, I have zero faith in the Cowboys. I have a minuscule amount of faith in the Redskins. To me, I think their quarterback situation is a little more competent. I think they have a better collection of weapons around Smith than the Cowboys do around Prescott.
Yeah.
And so I'm with you on this one. I think the Skins take this one.
Anything else about this game? It just seems like there's not a lot to talk about.
I'm not excited. I think that the Reds. I feel we keep harping on this, but the Washington's defense is better than expected.
Yeah, for sure.
And so that's kind of a huge part of this resurgence for them. So I think they limit the Cowboys' offense. I think this is a Washington win relatively handily, but still a really depressing game.
Yeah. So the Rams last week played a close game against the Broncos, came out on top. That's a 3-point game. And then the Niners in a 3-point game of their own, traveling to Lambeau Field and just losing to the Packers 33-30. Crosby with the game-winning field goal. So I don't know if this game has the potential to really be good. I see how last week could kind of either A, be a fluke for the Niners, or B, it just took the Packers forever to get going.
Yeah, I think we learned more about the Packers last week than we did about the Niners.
Yeah.
I think we knew C.J. Beathard was competent, and he showed that against a crappy secondary.
Yeah, but this week he's going against the Rams, just all around one of the best defenses in the league, and I don't see that going well.
Is C.J. Beathard's a super turnover-prone quarterback, and this Rams defense is super turnover-dependent, and that combo pack is going to be rough for the Niners, I think.
Niners are at home. I don't think that does too much to help them in this case, though.
No, I think Gurley gashes them.
Yeah, Gurley coming off a 200-yard game last week. Interesting to see if he keeps that going.
Over under 130, you think?
I'm gonna have to take the over on 130.
Yeah, I think he pops off again.
Yeah. I would not be surprised to see a 150-yard game.
Yeah, definitely.
If he rushes for 200 yards, he'll be only the 4th player in NFL history to do it.
Sure.
In back-to-back games, other 3 being O.J. Simpson,
nice.
Ricky Williams, and Jay Ajayi.
Wow, that's impressive.
That's one of my favorite stats because it's 2 of my favorite players, and O.J.'s story is, I don't want to say cool,
and O.J., that's it.
People forget O.J. Simpson played football.
Yeah, not a lot of people remember that.
I mean, I don't. I wasn't alive, but...
getting back to this game, though, I think it's a blowout. Jared Goff didn't have the best game last week against the Broncos. I think he bounces back in a big way.
I agree completely. I'm taking the Rams in this. The line's 10.5, I believe.
That might be too low.
Yeah, I say they cover.
Yeah, me too. I think this Rams defense is really good. Rams offense is really good. We're not breaking any news here, but Rams are pretty good at football.
Yep. So moving on, Sunday night game. This one's not too bad. Chiefs have their 2nd Sunday night game in a row. This one is at home against Cincinnati, a team we thought would be really bad, and has shown us that they are not really bad and might be kind of good.
Yeah, might be competent, and that's certainly more than I think either of us projected coming into the year.
Yep. Big comeback win over the Dolphins. I was really impressed with that. I hated to watch it, but that was a really impressive game for them. I think they played pretty well last week against the Steelers too. Just suffered that walk-off touchdown by Antonio Brown. I haven't heard anything about the NFL saying stuff or doing anything about Vontez Perfect.
Yeah, I keep reading articles about it, but I never keep.
NFL plans to look at hits, and then
Bingo.
we don't hear anything about it.
Bingo.
We talked in depth about him on our previous podcast and how we just both hate what he's doing. But in terms of the rest of the Bengals, how do you think they do in this game?
I think the Bengals keep it close throughout, but I have much more faith in the Chiefs' offense to never falter than the Bengals' offense to never fall. Like I think the Chiefs will be essentially flawless in this game, while the Bengals are going to have just enough mistakes to take them out.
I could see this being a 10-point game.
Yeah, exactly.
The Chiefs, where it's like closer than we thought it might be, but still pretty dominant by the Chiefs. I think Arrowhead is one of the worst places, if not the worst place, to play in the NFL.
Yeah.
It gets cold there so much sooner, and it's super loud. Screw you, Seattle. You're not the loudest.
No.
It's definitely Kansas City, and it just seems super scary to play there.
Yeah, Arrowhead's the worst. As someone who roots for a team that plays the Chiefs twice a year and travels to Arrowhead once a year, it's brutal. It is. They're just what they're doing up there is ridiculous.
Just that and the pairing of, Arrowhead with the dominance the Chiefs have showed us over the past 6 weeks. I don't see any way the Bengals have a true shot at winning this one.
I think they keep it close enough to remain competitive, but
it's not a boring game, but it's
Bingo.
never really a close game.
Bingo, hits the nail on the head. Yeah, I think the Chiefs once again show us how great that offense is, and the Bengals again prove how solid their offense is, just not at that Chiefs level.
Yep. So I guess we can wrap this up now with our Monday night game. The Giants have their second straight primetime game as well, and that really long 12-day break in between games.
Yeah.
They travel to Atlanta to take on the Falcons. Close win over the Bucks for Atlanta last week, but I don't see any way the Giants win this.
Yeah.
I'd be so shocked. There's so many flaws, and Atlanta is just, I don't know if they're great, but they're competent.
Yeah.
Their records are similar, 2-4 and 1-5.
Yeah.
But Atlanta just seems so much better.
Yeah. My main gripe with Atlanta is that we know how much talent they have on their team, but I feel like we've been saying that for the last 3-4 years, and with the exception of that Super Bowl season, they've never really been able to put it together.
No.
And so I am not quick to rush to judgment on this Falcons team again. I don't want to overreact to the amount of talent they have on this team, and I really just want to look at what they put together, and overall, it's just not that impressive.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the Giants might be able to squeak this one out.
Interesting.
I think these are two pathetic defenses, but believe it or not, I kind of like the Giants' skill position players more than the Falcons.
I just don't know if Eli Manning can do it.
Yeah, I don't. That's a great.
If the
question.
Giants win, it's going to be all Saquon.
Exactly.
He rushed had 150 yards from scrimmage in the last game. I wouldn't be surprised to see that again from Saquon. I just don't know if that's enough to win.
That's what I'm kind of thinking. I'm thinking Odell pops off, Saquon pops off, and Eli does enough to not take them out of the game. I think two really bad defenses, and I think this could be a fun one. I think this is not going to be a sound offensive game from either team, but an exciting offensive game.
Yeah, this isn't going to be like Redskins Cowboys or something like that. This is definitely high scoring, even though it's between two not that great teams.
This is going to be two offenses trying to put the ball in the hands of their best skill position players, just seeing who can do the most.
Yep.
And so I don't know. I think I'm giving a slight edge to the Giants here. I think first off, I don't know who's clamoring for more New York Giants primetime football. Who are the people who are like, yes, we need to see more Giants games, but apparently there's an audience.
It's not me.
Yeah, it's not any educated football fan.
I'm gonna watch it because it's
yeah.
Monday Night Football. But man, guys.
So I think just to clarify, I have the Giants in this one. How about you?
I'm sticking with the Falcons. I just think they're better all around. I don't know what word to use. It seems crazy on the Giants sideline though, and I think
it seems so mismanaged.
Yeah, I just think that is so bad for any team to have. And then when you're going on the road, just nah.
Yeah, okay. End the podcast before I can change my mind, because you're talking me out of this real quick.
Okay. Well, that is the final game of the week, and before Jacob changes his mind, I think we'll wrap it up for this week at Two Kids in a Trench Coat. We hope you enjoy our new 2-podcast format. We definitely like giving more attention to these games ahead. I think there's so much we left on the table, and we're happy to be telling you about it now.
Exactly. We are excited to move forward with this 2 podcasts a week.
Yep. So we will see how this weekend's games go, and we'll get back to you real soon after. Have a good one.